The Chicago Bears have a matchup against a familiar friend this weekend. Lovie Smith and the Houston Texans coming to town in a showdown with the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Who's going to win this matchup? Watch this video to find out. Before we get into the video, I want to talk about the sponsor of the video, DraftKings Sportsbook. It's already week 3 of the NFL. The action is heating up. There's been a lot of crazy games going on over the past couple weeks. There's been upsets. There's been crazy stuff happening. So if you guys want to place bets on any of this NFL action, maybe on your team, Chicago, maybe on other teams, maybe on a player you think is going to do well this week, I'd highly recommend you guys use DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL, to place your bets on NFL action this year, because they have a crazy promotion going on right now for new users that if you guys don't have an account already, you can take advantage of that promotion and build up your bankroll to start out your betting account. So basically how it works is that if you use promo code DaWindyCity while signing up, I have a link down below in my description to sign up, download the app. And if you guys do that, use promo code DaWindyCity, when you place a $5 wager on any NFL team to win this week, so maybe Chicago to beat Houston, or maybe some other team, whatever team you think is going to win this week, place a $5 bet on that team. And if your team actually ends up winning, you get $200 of free bets instantly, which I think is so cool, okay? So if you're very confident in the third team winning, place $5 on that team. And if they win, $200 in free bets, which is pretty nice. And they have a lot of different things to bet on as well. They have regular money line, obviously. They have spread bets. They have, prop bets. They also have same game parlays too, which I really love because you can combine a bunch of different things happening in a single game. For example, passing yards for one player with touchdowns for that player with, rushing yards for that player. If all those things happen in that game, you get the payout that you're supposed to get. And the odds can definitely go up there, okay? Because a lot of different things are happening in that game. So you can potentially turn a small wager into a large winning using same game parlays. So a lot of different things, guys, on this app. There's something for everybody. And if you're not located in a state where sports betting is legal right now, they also have DraftKings Daily Fantasy, which is a little bit different, but you can also earn money during this football season using that app as well. So really cool app, guys. I've been using it for a number of years. It's been great for me. You can withdraw your money pretty easily. It's been around for a long time. It's a very trusted app because it is an official betting partner of the NFL. So go download the app right now, guys. Again, the link is down below in my description box. Use promo code DaWindyCity to turn $5 of bets on any NFL team. And if they win, you get $200 of free bets in your DraftKings account. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing for every single Bears game this year. So if you guys want my thoughts, my analysis on what's going to happen for each Bears game this year, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. And today I'll be breaking down the matchup coming up between the Bears and the Texans. And like I mentioned, guys, Lovie is coming back to town, okay? In my lifetime, Lovie Smith has been the best Bears coach I've ever seen, okay? Because obviously I was born in '99, so I didn't get to see Mike Ditka or the other guys before that. Obviously, I didn't see Papa Bear, George Halas. So in my lifetime, guys, obviously Lovie Smith is the best Bears coach without a doubt, okay? Because the last time the Bears had any semblance of consistent success, Lovie Smith was our head coach. And he was the head coach for 9 years. A lot of Bears fans still love him. A lot of the city still loves him, understandably, because we have fallen off a cliff as a franchise ever since he left, okay? Multiple head coaching changes, multiple GMs. We can never beat the Packers. At least Lovie could beat the Packers. Look, he had an 8-11 record against the Packers during his era, which that might not seem that good, but that's the best record against the Packers probably, I think, since Mike Ditka left. So regardless, guys, I appreciate Lovie for everything he brought to Chicago. Growing up, I saw a lot of his teams, and he made me fall in love with Bears football in the first place. So it'll be cool to see him return to Chicago and hopefully get a standing ovation from the crowd. But obviously, I hope our Chicago Bears beat his ass, okay, and beat the Houston Texans, because we need to win badly right now after the humiliating loss we had last weekend against the Green Bay Packers. And talking about that loss, guys, obviously it was a pretty poor showing by the entire Bears team. The offense could get no passing attack generated the entire game. The defense was horrid in run support, and we got blown out yet again on Sunday Night Football against our rivals, the Green Bay Packers. So it's been a tough week for the entire Bears team. I mean, the media and the fan base has been asking questions about Justin Fields' ability to play quarterback for this team. By the way, I got a new t-shirt for Justin Fields, just came in the mail today, which I really love. But yeah, the media has been pretty harsh on Fields, and the fan base has been as well, because he didn't have a good showing last weekend against the Green Bay Packers. But you guys got to keep in mind, okay, it's only been 12 starts in his entire career. He's basically still a rookie quarterback, so obviously bad showings are going to happen for a quarterback this young, learning a totally new system, a system that's completely different than the one he learned last year. So have a little bit of patience, Bears fans. Like, I know that Bears fans don't want to hear that because we've been hearing that like forever, but that's the truth, guys. Okay, he's a young quarterback, and young quarterbacks need a little bit of time to develop. And I guarantee you guys, as the season progresses, you are going to see some better performances out of Justin Fields and some really good ones as well, I hope, which hopefully that starts with this game against the Texans. But yeah, it's been a rough week for the entire Bears team. Getsy has been getting questions as well about his ability to call plays. But talking about the Houston Texans now, guys, they don't have a single win up to this point, but they have a tie against the Colts, which was in week 1. So very competitive in that game. And then the last game they lost against the Broncos also was very competitive. Okay, they only lost by 1 possession. So even though this Texans team doesn't have a whole lot of talent on it, okay, if you look around the roster, there's not a lot of proven things on it. The quarterback is also a young, developing quarterback. So it's not really like a powerhouse team like the 49ers or the Packers were the last 2 weeks. But Lovie Smith always has his guys playing harder than maybe what their talent level is. So it's going to be a tough matchup nonetheless. And don't take this team lightly if you are a Chicago Bears fan. But talking about the Texans offense, first of all, guys, I want to give you guys some information about the Texans offense if you guys don't know many of them, because obviously this is not an offense with many household names. But I'll give you guys some stats, first of all, on how their offense has done the last 2 weeks. So they're ranked number 29 in yards per game, number 26 in points per game. They're the number 24 passing offense and number 27 rushing offense. So clearly the numbers are not that good, okay? They've not done so well on the offensive side of the football the last 2 weeks against the Colts and the Broncos. Their play caller right now is Pep Hamilton, a guy that a lot of Bears fans actually had interest in being the play caller of the Bears, before Luke Getsy took over. So we are familiar with this guy. He used to be our quarterbacks coach back in 2007 to 2009. He's coaching up the Texans offense now, which again has not had that much success the last couple weeks, but anything is possible, okay? It's only been 2 weeks, and they still have some talented guys on this offense that could have good showings against the Bears defense if we are not ready to play ball, okay? So talking about their quarterback first, Davis Mills, okay, the second-year player that kind of got forgotten in the 2021 draft class with all the big names going in the first round. But Davis Mills quietly has had a pretty solid start to his NFL career, okay? If I read you guys his stats up to this point, so he has 3,081 passing yards, 18 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, passer rating of 87.6, okay? So if you just look at the stat sheet, those are pretty good numbers, okay? He has been pretty productive compared to most other quarterbacks in his draft class. Now, his ceiling, though, is not nearly as high as the other quarterbacks. Like, for example, I feel like Fields and even Lance, even Zach Wilson, they have much higher ceilings than Davis Mills does, because Davis Mills is not the most athletic guy. He doesn't have the biggest arm in the world, but as a pure pocket passer, he has been pretty decent, okay? He gets the ball out super quick. He has a pretty sharp release, pretty sharp spiral that he throws accurate balls from the pocket. So if he's kept clean in the pocket, he can definitely do some damage against you. The trouble comes when he gets pressure in his face, because he hasn't been able to do much when pressure is presented to him up to this point, because again, he can't really extend plays or do crazy things with his arm because he doesn't have that ceiling, at least in my opinion. So good, solid quarterback, but if you get pressure on him, maybe he will make some mistakes right now. Talking about the receiving core now, they have a speedy, dynamic receiving duo in both Brandon Cooks and second-year player Nico Collins, okay, coming out of Michigan. Nico Collins is a big, tall athlete. He ran a 4.4 40-yard dash, and he has dynamic, big playmaking ability, okay? He can go down the field and win the aggressive catch because he is super tall, has a pretty nice catch radius, pretty fast, elusive as well. So Nico Collins, honestly, I'm pretty high on. I think that, if Davis Mills and him get a proper connection going, this could be a pretty scary duo eventually. Not sure about right now because, again, both are pretty young. Brandon Cooks has been producing for a long time now in the NFL. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is, doesn't matter what the team is. He basically always is a lock for 1,000 yards, still a super fast, dynamic receiver. So those two guys are pretty talented, but behind them, they don't have a lot of proven things, okay? They have Chris Moore, they have Philip Dorsett, Tyler Johnson, John Mechie battling leukemia, so he's not going to be playing. Prayers out to him. But yeah, it's a pretty top-heavy receiving core, okay? It's mostly just Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks, at least as of now. They do have a pretty powerful rookie running back, though. Dameon Pierce, coming over from Florida, where a lot of Florida fans feel like he wasn't really used properly. Well, he's getting a chance here with the Houston Texans to show off what he has. He hasn't had a great start to the season up to this point, but he has a lot of long-term potential. Okay, he's a powerful, strong type of back, so he's not going to be like a home run threat. He doesn't have top-end speed, but he can grind you out throughout the course of a game with his, 4, 5, 6+ yard runs, in which he's like a bruising type of back. Okay, so he's definitely going to make you feel the impact of his, of his runs, and that's what he's been doing up to this point, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of rushing yards so far. And they also have a pretty mediocre offensive line, I would say right now. Like, it's not necessarily bad, but it's not really good either. At least the last 2 weeks they haven't been. Okay, so they've been getting pretty decent play from the tackles from Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard. They've only allowed 6 pressures and 2 sacks the last 2 games, but the interior has been an area of weakness the last 2 weeks. They have a rookie playing at left guard, Kenyon Green, who's been having some struggles in pass protection. So that's the Texans offense. Let me go to their defense next. So they rank number 31 in yards allowed per game. They rank number 9 in points allowed per game. They're the number 26 pass defense and number 30 run defense. So you can see by the stats, guys, they allow you to get down the field, but in the red zone, they've been pretty damn strong. Okay, they've held their own when the space is tight and the options are limited for the offense to, score. Okay, and that's kind of a hallmark of a Lovie team, okay? Kind of a bend but not break style of defense. Obviously, Lovie won't be happy about the exact number of yards they have allowed up to this point, but I'm sure he's pretty happy about the red zone performances up to this point. And looking at their defensive roster, guys, it sounds like a very proven defensive roster. Like, if I read you guys some of the names on their defense, a lot of, I guess casual fans of the NFL would not know who a lot of these guys even are. So they don't have a lot of household names, but Lovie always gets his defenses to play better than the sum of their individual talents. Okay, that's how good of a defensive coach he is. So don't think it's going to be a cakewalk, even though their numbers up to this point don't look good so far. They have a lot of veterans on this defense right now too. Like, for example, they have Christian Kirksey at linebacker. They have veterans at the cornerback spots, and Desmond King and Steven Nelson. They also have veterans at the defensive line, Jerry Hughes, Malik Collins as well. So a lot of veteran leadership on this team mixed in with some young talent too. And that's, maybe eventually they could be a better defense than they have been the last 2 weeks. They have a youth infusion that they had on the secondary in the draft this year as well. Okay, obviously Derek Stingley Jr. coming over from LSU, pick number 3. Very talented athlete, sticks to the ball, makes plays on the ball as well. Like the perfect cornerback in the Lovie Smith cover 2 scheme. So eventually he is going to be pretty great for them. But the last 2 weeks, he's been getting picked on a little bit, okay, like all rookie cornerbacks do. Okay, last week against the Broncos, Russell Wilson threw his way a bunch and completed most of those passes. So kind of like our rookie cornerback Kyler Gordon, maybe having some struggles this early, and maybe, the Bears could attack that and test how good, how ready he is right now. They also have Jalen Petrie, the safety coming over from Baylor. Also a pretty fluid athlete, pretty rangy. He can make a lot of plays in coverage, move all over the field. So 2 talented young guys there for the Texans defense. And, like I mentioned, guys, they don't have a lot of other big names, but they do have Jerry Hughes, okay, 34-year-old Jerry Hughes, edge rusher, playing pretty good for them the last 2 weeks. Okay, he's off to a pretty good start. He has 2 sacks, 1 interception as well, and 4 pressures total up to this point this season. Also playing pretty fantastic run defense too, at least compared to the other guys around him. So that's definitely a name to watch out for, Jerry Hughes. But aside from that, and a couple other players, this Texans defense definitely lacks talent. But again, like I mentioned, a Lovie Smith defense always is going to be a tough matchup to go up against, especially in the red zone. Okay, so that's the Texans offense and defense. Let me talk quickly about the Bears now. Obviously, I won't go too much in depth about them because you guys watching, most of you are Bears fans, so we already know what our team is like. But talking about the Bears offense, they rank number 32 in yards per game. They rank number 26 in points per game. They're the number 32 passing offense, number 8 rushing offense. And the big question right now is, can the Chicago Bears generate any sort of a passing attack? Because the last 2 games against the Niners and the Packers, they have had virtually no consistent passing attack. They've only had 28 total pass attempts during the last 2 games, which is absolutely insane. Okay, usually you have 28 passing attempts in a single game for a regular offense, but the Bears are not even trying to pass the football, at least right now. And part of the reason for that is because obviously week 1 we played in a monsoon. It was raining super heavily, so it's kind of hard to pass the football. And then obviously last week the Packers had the entire time of possession because we could not stop the run, okay? So they drew out the clock, limited offensive possessions for us. So I guess you could kind of excuse the last 2 weeks, but this game against the Texans, there's no more excuses, okay? If we don't even try to pass the football more than like 10, 11 times in the game, I'm going to have serious questions about what the trust is in Justin Fields with this regime, okay? If you're not even trusting a young quarterback to throw the football at all. But yeah, talking about Justin Fields, like his second-year quarterback, he has been having a pretty rough start to 2022. But again, it is pretty early, okay? So he has played a couple good quarters of football. Like the second half against the Niners, he was on point, okay? Pretty accurate with the football, making big plays to help lead that comeback. But in that game against the Packers, okay, the few times he did throw the football, looked pretty inaccurate, looked pretty uncomfortable, looked kind of hesitant as well. So I really want to see, can Justin Fields bounce back off of that pretty poor performance, okay? A highly competitive guy like him, he doesn't take lightly to being questioned so much by the media, by the fan base. So look for Justin Fields to really hopefully get something going, get some progress going in this game against the Texans, if the Bears allow him the chance to pass the football, which again is going to be huge because Luke Getsy needs to be setting up more passing attempts for Justin Fields off the play action, off the bootleg, even in the pocket. Okay, we haven't seen too many of those passes, but hopefully we see some of that in this game against the Texans. And it is pretty concerning, okay, that the Bears' top two playmakers, Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney, only have 4 yards combined up to this point. Okay, they've been complete non-factors the first 2 weeks. So the Bears definitely have to try to get those guys involved if they want to have any semblance of a regular passing attack. But Equanimeous St. Brown has probably been our best receiver up to this point, which I feel like no Bears fan could have expected. Okay, he has 57 yards and a touchdown, but more than that, he's been very crucial blocking. Okay, he's been one of our best blocking receivers up to this point. Okay, helping on a number of big plays, blocking for for his receivers, for his other running backs on the field. So definitely appreciate Equanimeous St. Brown and his effort he's given to the Chicago Bears offense. He's a guy to watch out for in this game against the Texans. And lastly, I do want to talk about the Bears run game because this is the one thing our offense actually is really good at doing. Okay, we can run the football pretty effectively. We have Monty, who had 122 yards last game against the Packers, showed off his elusiveness, his burst, his ability to break tackles. So Monty looked pretty good the last game against the Packers defense. Herbert had a pretty strong week 1 performance, had over 50 yards. So this 1-2 punch of both Monty and Herbert, it's been looking pretty strong up to this point. Okay, they've been complementing each other pretty well. And with how committed the Bears offense is to the run game, both of them are going to eat. And Justin Fields also eats in the run game because as a mobile quarterback, he's been also moving with the football and trying to pick up first downs with his legs since the passing offense isn't really working right now. But that is the Bears offense. Let me talk about the Bears defense next. They rank number 22 in yards allowed per game, number 12 in points allowed per game. They're the number 7 pass defense and number 32 run defense. And obviously the big stat here, guys, the big glaring stat is that they have been getting gashed in the run game the last 2 weeks. Okay, they have allowed 379 total rushing yards so far this year, which is absolutely unacceptable. Okay, that's why the time of possession has been limited for the Chicago Bears because sometimes our defense cannot get off the field. That was the case last week against the Green Bay Packers. And our linebackers have really been struggling a lot in run support. Okay, Roquan Smith, Nicholas Morrow, and Matt Adams. And obviously, Roquan has never been the best in run support. He's much better against the pass than against the run. But Roquan really has to step it up because entering a contract year, basically, a year in which he had some disputes with the front office over not getting his money. He has to earn that money for the Chicago Bears. And so far this year, hasn't really been doing that. So hopefully the linebackers do step it up because they are super talented. Okay, Roquan is one of the most talented linebackers in the NFL, but they have to be better against the run if they want to be a better defense. But the pass rush for the Chicago Bears defense has been looking on point the entire year. Okay, and it's a new guy stepping up every single week. Like week 1 against the Niners, Ricky Dominic Robinson stepped up to get 2 sacks. Last week, Travis Gibson had 2 sacks. Robert Quinn also had a sack as well. So we have multiple guys that can rotate in and out, get pressure on the quarterback. And that's how this Bears defense is going to succeed. Okay, getting pressure with the front 4 because we don't blitz that often, kind of like Lovie Smith. Okay, it's a bend but not break style of defense with the cover 2 principles behind it. So pass rush has been pretty solid. I also want to talk about CB1 Jalen Johnson because Jalen Johnson has been having an elite start to the season. Okay, he hasn't allowed a single catch up to this point, but he's also not been targeted a single time by any quarterback, which is pretty insane. Okay, he's been locking down his guys to the tune where they don't even throw his way anymore. So hopefully that continues this game against the Texans. Okay, we're getting elite play from our cornerback number 1, but our rookie cornerback, Kyler Gordon, okay, it's been a different story. Okay, he's been getting picked on a lot to start his NFL career, which is to be expected because cornerback is a pretty hard position to play in this league, and it takes years and years to master. So he's not going to be great right away, but hopefully he improves his level of play to the point where, he's not getting targeted every other pass like he was last week against the Green Bay Packers. But that's the Bears defense. And we talk about the 3 keys now to Bears victory. Okay, how can the Chicago Bears actually win this game? And key number 1 is going to be to feed David Montgomery. Okay, David Montgomery went off last weekend against the Green Bay Packers, and the Texans don't have a good run defense. Okay, they rank number 30 in run defense, and Lovie has been pretty pissed about their run defense efforts. So why not test them more in this game? Okay, feed David Montgomery as much as you can. I don't want it to be where it's getting the ball every single play, because I want Justin Fields also to do something in the passing attack, but give him enough carries to the point where he can get a rhythm, a flow in this game, and get enough carries to really punish the Texans defense. Okay, Monty is the type of running back that finishes every single carry. Okay, you saw that on display last week against the Packers. Even though felt like a lot of the team gave up, Monty never did give up, and he was giving his full heart and his full effort into every single play. So reward him with a lot of carries in this game if you want to, really test the Texans run defense. So that is key number 1. Talking about key number 2, that's going to be to let Justin Fields thrive off of the play action. Okay, I want a lot more passes for Justin Fields in this game. Obviously, I know I just said that I want a lot of carries for Monty too, but hopefully we get enough possessions to the point where we can get both, carries for Monty and passes for Fields, partly from the play action. Okay, if we run the ball pretty effectively, that's going to make Justin Fields dangerous off the play action, because defenders are going to bite on the play action. Okay, and hopefully that makes it easier for Justin Fields to get some rhythm going in the passing game, because we haven't given Justin Fields many freebies up to this point. Okay, it's been a lot of passes on like 3rd and long, in which, obviously it's going to be hard for Justin Fields to get in any sort of rhythm if you're only giving him some passes on those 3rd and long situations. So get more passes for Justin Fields on like 2nd down, maybe even some on 1st down, and definitely use the play action as much as you can, because if we run the ball effectively, like I think we will in this game, that's going to open up a lot for the Bears passing attack. And then lastly, key number 3 is going to be to have a coordinated tackling effort against the run. Okay, the last 2 games against the Niners and the Packers, there hasn't been much cohesion in regards to run defense for the Chicago Bears. Okay, they've been pretty decent against the pass, aside from like Kyler Gordon slipping up a lot on Sunday Night Football, but against the run, they have had no answer. Okay, guys are laid to their spots. They're taking bad pursuit angles. They're going a little bit higher than they should. Matt Eberflus talked about that in his press conference, that the tackling has been a little bit too high. He wants it to be a little bit lower. So, hopefully the tackling effort overall is a lot better, because against the Houston Texans, Dameon Pierce could go off, for the first time in the NFL against us if we do not clean up our run defense. So those are my 3 keys to Bears victory. As for my score prediction, who do I have winning this game? And I have the Chicago Bears going into Soldier Field against Lovie Smith and getting a strong bounce back win by the score of 21-17. So I still don't have our offense scoring that many points, because until I see it, I can't really predict it. So even though I want to say Justin Fields goes off for like 4 or 5 touchdowns, that'll be a stupid thing to predict if I haven't seen any semblance of a passing attack the first 2 weeks. So I do think that Justin Fields and the passing offense will be better in this game. Like Justin Fields, I hope, will have at least 200 passing yards in this game. And, for the first time, we actually see Darnell Mooney get a catch. We see Cole Kmet get some yards, because, this Texans defense is not as talented as the Niners or Packers defense was. So we should see a better passing attack, but we also are going to see a pretty strong rushing effort from David Montgomery, okay, going up against a pretty bad Texans run defense, which is why he's my offensive MVP of this game. Okay, I think that Monty gets at least 100 rushing yards, hopefully a touchdown too, and carries the Bears offense in this game, and hopefully complements Justin Fields in the passing attack as well. So that's my offensive MVP of this game. My defensive MVP is actually going to be Jalen Johnson, because he's been our best defensive player the last 2 weeks, and maybe going up against a relatively inexperienced quarterback in Davis Mills, maybe Davis Mills decides to test him and throws a pick, I hope, to Jalen Johnson. So I think that Jalen actually gets a pick and plays pretty strong defense overall in this game to be our defensive MVP. But those are pretty much all my predictions. Leave your comments down below. What do you guys think the score of this game is going to be? Who do you think is going to have a good performance? Do you think that Justin Fields can have a strong bounce back performance? I really hope so, because he's been getting slandered a lot by the media and the fan base, which I get because he's coming off a bad performance, but give him a little bit of time, okay? It's only been 2 weeks in a brand new system, and I think that as the season progresses, you are going to see better performances out of Justin Fields, and hopefully that starts in this game against the Texans. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your comments down below, and as always, bear down.